You know, the Egyptians used to really revere and respect the ibis. But in Australia, they're called tip turkeys and bin chickens. I've got this kid's nature book here, and in here it's got some interesting stuff about the ibis. One of the most important gods of ancient Egypt was Thoth, which is a very funny sort of sound. The god of intelligence and wisdom, and ascribed to other gods. He was always represented as having the head of an ibis. And it may well be that the questioning and alert look of the sacred ibis searching for food was the inspiration for this image. You know, the Egyptians used to really revere and respect the ibis. But in Australia, they're called tip turkeys and bin chickens.
While we were at Centennial Park recently in Sydney, it was great to sit down beside Bill and watch him draw the ibises. I grew up in Sydney, and in the 70s and 80s I hardly saw any ibises at all, but I've noticed in the last 20 years or so a dramatic increase in their numbers around Sydney, mainly in the suburbs and the city. At first I thought it was just because of dry weather inland and also all the rubbish and abundance of food around the city that was just increasing their numbers to overpopulate, but I was wrong. I've just seen this article here by Ursula Munro of the University of Technology, and she's been studying the ibises. And it was really interesting that she has noticed that they could be the last few ibises down the east coast of Australia. She says in her article that in the 80s inland there were tens of thousands of the birds, but we hardly ever saw them in the city. But now there could be around 3,500 around the Sydney area and far less of them inland. There have been some culling of the ibises around Sydney because they've been a pest and they've become quite tame and cheeky, stealing food from people's tables in the cafes and things. But she's questioning the culling because we could be making the mistake of wiping them out. The fact that these birds are surviving so well in urban areas just shows how resilient they are and how adaptable they are.
Here's an ibis skull that I've got, which it's really handy to have that bit of extra information when I'm just going to draw something. Okay, once again I'm coming back to Simpson and Day. It's one of the best field guides, I think. And this is Birds of Australia. And here's our ibis. So there's a little bit of colour there. This might sort of help me just detail a little bit of some of the drawings that I did before. They've got a beautiful shaped bill, and the backs of their heads are really funny. Apart from this beautiful shaped bill right at the front there, the other bit I find really nice is how it balances at the back end with these nice tail feathers that hang down. One of the things about black and white animals is they are there to sort of confuse the eye. When this guy's up in a tree, the white would sort of blend in with the background of the sky, and the black bits would blend in with the trunks of the tree. Almost be a great camouflage. Even down the ground, they're confusing to the eye, which is why usually when I paint a black and white animal, I like to shove a bit of colour in the background. And so there you have it. The beautiful, gorgeous ibis. Some people love them, a lot of people hate them. I think they're gorgeous. And if you enjoyed this video, check out some of my other videos right here. Catch you next time.